So for those of you that want to satisfy your curiosity about why the law of sines works, here's a quick little proof of the law of sines. Okay, so let's start with our basic triangle. We're going to have our triangle, and we're going to just call it ABC. And of course, my opposite sides are A, B, and C. Now, this is not a right triangle. I can't do anything with it. But what I can do is draw in a line, an altitude, say, that makes a right angle. I'll call that altitude X. Well, now, if I look at what I have here, I've got X, and you know what? Just to give some other names, I'm going to call this Y, and that's Z. So we've got a bunch of different things going on here. Now let's look at what the sine of A is. Well, the sine of A would be the opposite side, which is X, over the hypotenuse, C. The sine of C, angle C here, would be the opposite side, X, over the hypotenuse, A. And if I cross multiply, I get that X equals the sine of A times side C, and at X equals side A times the sine of angle C. Notice both X's are the same. So C sine of A equals A sine of C. And now what I want to do is divide this side by C on both sides and divide by A on both sides. When I do that, this C cancels that C, this A cancels that A. So I'm left with the sine of A over side A equals the sine of C over side C. Now, that's part of my law of sines immediately. But what about B? Well, let's take this triangle, same triangle, but this time I'm going to break it up in a different place. So this is the exact same triangle. I'm just redrawing the exact same guy, A, B, and C. But instead of drawing my altitude from angle B, I'm going to draw my altitude from angle C. So now I've just got a little bit extra information. Now I have, if I use angle A, let's go here and call that X. Let's call that Y, and that Z. So now the sine of angle A is opposite over its hypotenuse, which when I cross multiply gives me B sine of A. And the sine of angle B is the opposite, which is X, over its hypotenuse. Remember, the right angle is here, so the hypotenuse is A. Cross multiply A sine of B, which means B sine of A equals A sine of B, which now I can do the exact same thing. Divide by, let's get my division here, divide this side by B and this side by B, and divide both sides by A, which means now these B's cancel, those A's cancel, leave me with sine of A over A equals sine of B over B. But remember, we already said sine of A also equals sine of C, or sine of A over A equals sine of C over C. And since it's the exact same triangle, this ratio of sine of A over A is the same as that one. So I can take this thing and add it to the list, because sine of A over A equals the sine of B over B and the sine of C over C. So there's a proof using basic trig and proportions. Okay, hopefully that satisfies your curiosity.